What if I told you Bungie already has a secret plan to save Destiny, and it's been right in front of us the whole time? In today's video, I'll break down what that plan is and why I think it's their only option, and how it could completely reshape the future of the franchise. I believe Bungie has had this plan in place for quite a while. Is it just me, or does the most recent expansion just feel like overall filler content, or the setup to something much bigger? The same way Destiny 1 was in most ways a setup for Destiny 2. During Destiny 1 we got a lot of what seemed like incoherent storytelling that never seemed to weave together with other stories. As we know now, they all came coherent in Destiny 2 and eventually came to a climax in the final shape with the Witness, who turned out to be the darkness we had been teased for over 10 years. This brings me to my next point. I believe that D3 is in early development. Yes, I know what you're typing in the comments now, that the developers have already told us that Destiny 3 is not in any way being made. But let me ask you this, how many times have game developers lied to us before? Yeah, that's what I thought, a lot. There is no reason why this isn't another one of those moments. For instance, do you remember when No Man's Sky first released and it was advertised as being a multiplayer game, just for two streamers to go to the exact same planet and coordinates on launch day and not be able to see each other at all? Or when CD Projekt Red said that Cyberpunk 2077 runs surprisingly good on last gen consoles, just for vehicles to regularly fall through the map and NPCs to walk around like zombies. Or, stay with me here, when 343 Industries said that Halo Infinite would have a co-op campaign, just for it to release without one. Developers lie all the time, and there is no reason why Bungie couldn't have lied about D3 being in development, or at least being an idea on a whiteboard in their office. If you actually believe Bungie's statement about D3 never being in development, then all I ask is that you think about all the other statements Bungie has lied to us about in the past 10 years relating to Destiny. Why would Bungie lie though? There is a multitude of reasons as why Bungie could be lying about D3. They are probably still in very early development, probably many years from a final product. It is simply too early to let the cat out of the bag. With projects like Marathon coming out, they may not want to steal the spotlight from it with the announcement of their biggest franchise getting a sequel. Being in such early development, they want people to keep playing Destiny 2 and not stop and wait for the next entry in the series, losing players over the years while waiting. Game developers for the most part don't announce games until they know they are around a year from coming out, unless they get delayed like something like Marathon. This brings me to my next point. D3 is a no-brainer for Bungie. Destiny at this point is a major franchise in the gaming world with a massive fan base that may not always be on board for what Bungie is offering, but overall has a far greater reach than most games. Destiny is a game that no other developer has had the ability to crack the code of. There is no other game like Destiny that hits all the same highs as Destiny. This makes Destiny an extremely valuable resource for Bungie. Most devs are making the same game with slightly different twists or a different skin stuck on it. Look at Call of Duty for instance and tell me how many other games are just a clone of Call of Duty. Or survival games, which have been bashed to death over the years, all with slight twists like being able to ride dinos in one or fight zombies in another. Destiny has no competition at current. All the games that have claimed to take on Destiny have thus failed, burned, and crashed, or all at the same time in the case of Anthem. Things like The Division have tried but lack the unique weapons and community that Destiny has that brings players like me and you back to it. Borderlands is probably the closest thing to Destiny but still lacks things like raids, dungeons, and weapon variety. If you think that Bungie is just going to let one of the biggest cash cows of modern gaming die, I would warn you to stray on the side of caution, as this would be a big mistake for them and you. So how does this give reason to D2's current state? So what I believe is happening with D2 at current is a mix of very low amount of developers working on it, and the fact that they are trying to build up to something big again. Drip feeding us information about our new big foe, probably not to be known until Destiny 3. This time of Destiny 2 is akin to what Destiny 1 was to D2. If I had to guess, I would say there is maybe 15% of the company working on D3, another 15% working on D2 content, and the remaining 70% polishing and making Marathon a perfect experience. Because make no doubt, Marathon is Bungie's biggest and most important game at the moment. When Marathon finally releases, I would say that the focus would then become D3 with around 60% moving to D3, 15% still working on D2, and 25% working on whatever post-launch content they are planning for Marathon. I personally believe that Destiny 2 will be in a horrible state until D3 is launched. As at current, Bungie just doesn't have the manpower to work on this many high-profile assets at once, and the only logical choice is to strip the Destiny 2 experience down to what we have now. A portal that contains all old and reused activities with easy ways to update the experience with a low cost and low amount of manpower. This also gives reason as to why Bungie would allow a crossover with Star Wars for Renegades. It creates a very easy and sustainable way to bring players in without too much brainpower. Star Wars will always attract players just due to the massive footprint the IP has. This works in Bungie's favour, as it is working with a much smaller team than usual. It makes everything about a new expansion easier from the fact that they can just use extremely popular weapons like lightsabers as exotic weapons and make small incoherent changes to their already established enemies to make them more Star Warsy. Bungie knows some of their more hardcore players won't want any part of this expansion, but they also know that the amount of new players that they will get from the Star Wars universe will highly outweigh this loss, all with big wallets ready to go back and buy the endless plethora of content in the game. Also, has no one thought of what Sony's plans are? Sony bought Bungie for one reason, for their expertise in making live service games, not extraction shooters like Marathon. Marathon was already in deep development when Sony purchased Bungie, but you would have to believe that the main IP that Sony is hoping for with the purchase of Bungie is the Destiny franchise, and Bungie's formula for making it a live service game. Sony is a behemoth in the gaming world and is the reason we have some of the best games of the past few years, and you can bet your bottom dollar that they are not going to let Bungie die with their investment. Just look at Sony's other acquisitions over the years and the absolute quality that they have gotten from them, like Insomniac Games and their phenomenal Spider-Man series, Sucker Punch, and the Game of the Year nominee Ghost of Tsushima. And of course, you can't forget about Naughty Dog, which hosts the Uncharted series as well as The Last of Us. Sony has big pockets and they want in on the live service niche. They know Bungie is the company to get them in, and they are not going to miss out on the return on their investment. One thing Sony also know, D3 is on the way. That's the only thing keeping them sane at the moment, not Marathon and not Renegades. Take what you will from this, guys. I know there will be some people who think I'm delusional, but that's alright, as we are all allowed to have our own opinions. Please keep it civil in the comments and let me know what you think. Keep in mind, this is all speculation and theory, my speculation and theory. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into what I think is going on at Bungie, then please leave a like and subscribe for more Destiny 2 or 3 content in the future. Have a good one, guys. Stitch out.